Our detectives are doing what they do best, and that's put bad guys in jail. This time the bad guy is a medical doctor. He's been arrested several times before, but he's never been arrested for peddling dope, and that's exactly what he was doing. On at least 2 different undercover detectives assigned to this case, we know as they came into his facility, he would give them narcotics, hydrocodone, oxycodone, and here's what happened. Undercover detective would come in. The undercover would say, I want narcotics. One of them said that she had a knee that hurt. And as a result, he said, well, you need an x-ray. So she brought an x-ray back. He looked at the x-ray, says, looks fine to me, and it gave her narcotics. She came in on at least 3 different occasions. We found that he not only provided narcotics for her, that he was nasty, that he would hit on her, that he provided a key to the condo that he had for her so she could party. We sent another undercover detective in and he said, what's wrong with you? And she said, nothing. She said, I get hooked up with my pills on the street, but what I really need is a pill bottle so that I'm legit if the cops stop me. He said, well, you have to have an MRI. So he gave her a prescription for an MRI. We came back with that MRI. He reviewed it and he said, looks good to me, and began to prescribe her medications. Both the undercover detectives, he coached them as to what he needed to know. Then he would say, now we have to start out with like Motrin. Have you taken Motrin for your pain? And we're really looking for chronic pain, long-term pain. Do you have long-term pain? They were going to ask on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad's your pain? Once one of the detectives said, well, is more pain better? And they said, yeah, more pain's better. She said, well, how about 8 or 9 or 10? He said, that's good. This went on for a period of months. Not once did he take any of the undercovers into an examination room, but he took them into his office. Not once did he perform any evaluation such as blood pressure, listening to the heart and lungs. He simply would lay out what he needed from them to try to legitimize his issuance of prescriptions. In addition to that, he told the one undercover, he said, well, why don't you come sit on my lap while we look at your MRI? One of the undercover detectives, he said he was a surgeon. And in fact, his claim to fame, and this is his words, was, I put the liver in Evel Knievel. Well, we did some research in Google, and sure enough, Evel Knievel had a liver transplant at TGI. This guy is a bad guy. This guy is a dope dealer. Why in the world he's practicing medicine, we don't know. It's reported to us that he has a complaint that's been pending about 2.5 years before DOH. We know he's been arrested a multiple number of times. DUI, property damage, violent arrest for assault, failure to pay child support. And they said any time that they interacted with this doctor, he would take up to an hour with them, that he would be all over the board whenever he was talking to them. He couldn't talk in complete sentences. When they suggested that one knee was hurting, he actually said the other knee was hurting. This guy was a trip. Well, here's the message. We've got an appointment for this doctor at the county jail today. And here's what we want to tell to all the wonderful doctors in this community that save lives every day. We're getting rid of the bad apples so they don't ever give you a bad name. This investigation's not over. We're seizing records here today. The other message I want to send is if you've been coming to this doctor just to get narcotics, he's out of business and you're going to be out of business too. And for those few doctors that are illegally prescribing pills, I suggest you pack your little black bag up and get slapped out of Polk County, or you're going to have an appointment at the county jail next.